fashion designer and photographer, formerly from the Dominican Republic and now living in Yonkers, who is quickly becoming a rising star in the sometimes turbulent and always glamorous New York fashion industry. Abiel Ruiz, welcome to the program. It's a pleasure having you here.
Thank you for having me.
You're a young guy, so how early in your life did you begin to, how did this begin for you? How long have you been a designer?
I think it all started when I was about 12. I took interest in the art of graffiti.
Okay.
And that's what kicked it off for me. The first thing I did was I purchased an airbrush machine and a compressor, and I just started doing stuff on my own T-shirts.
I noticed that you called it the art of graffiti. Some people would not consider graffiti art.
Yeah.
Okay, so
well, I think it's definitely an art. It's just that most kids or young adults that choose to go into that world, they do the wrong things with it. If you take the skill and the art and you do canvases and do something productive with it, then there's no negativity to it, and it's definitely art. But
right.
If you go and you tag the streets and
public property,
exactly, vandalize public property, then that's when it becomes an issue, and that's why a lot of people just stereotype the whole graffiti thing and categorize it as something negative. But
so you started graffiti on T-shirts.
Yes.
How did that happen? Then you created your own little business, started selling
I actually did. Well, that started later on down the line. Like I said, I was like 12, but along those years, I never really, it was just me doing it on paper.
Okay.
And for the most part, and just wherever I could write my name, I would. But I did very little vandalism. I'm not going to say that I didn't, but very little, because I was always scared of getting in trouble. I was never one of those like rebellious bad kids, So when I was about 16, 17, I managed to get an airbrush machine, and I started doing stuff on my own T-shirts. And then I started doing stuff for friends, and everybody was telling me, why don't you go do it in the street? You could probably make some money off of this. So eventually I had enough of people telling me that, and I quit my job. I had I was working retail at that time, and I just quit my job, and I partnered up with some other kid. We rented a location, and I started just working for myself at that age. I was about 17, 18.
All right, and what were you doing? What were you producing at that time?
I was airbrushing on sneakers, T-shirts, just doing like lettering, cartoon characters, and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. And then how did that, you have your own line now, La Vie.
Yes, well, yes,
La Vie,
I have
which
partners.
means life, right?
It's not just my line, I have partners. Yes,
okay.
It means the life in French.
The life, okay.
That took place a little bit later on down the line, because I airbrushed for about 2 to 3 years of my lifetime, and after like the first year and a half, the first kid that I partnered up with to start airbrushing, when we had the location, it started going not too well after a couple of months money-wise, so we had no choice but to just shut it down and go our separate ways. I continued to airbrush for some time, and then we bumped heads again about a year and some change down the line, and he came to me with the idea of starting a clothing brand. And it's something that kind of, he said, I have a lot of ideas, and I know you have the creativity, so why don't we put it together? I know some people in the industry that I think we can possibly go through, and that's how pretty much we got together.
So you went from airbrushing T-shirts to becoming a fashion designer?
Yes, I wasn't designing at first, because we were a team of 4 people. It was 3 males and a female, and one of the other guys was designing. But after a couple of years, he started doing his own thing, so I took over the design aspect completely and the creative direction of the brand, and it is what it is today.
So what is La Vie?
La Vie is a lifestyle clothing brand. We compete in the streetwear market, but I wouldn't categorize it as just a strictly streetwear brand. I think we're a lot more than that because of our design aspects. We're very
shirt you're wearing is a La Vie shirt, right?
This is one of our spring-summer pieces. It's a polo. I think our designs are very different, and we don't have a gimmick per se that people recognize us for, but people are starting to appreciate the brand because of our uniqueness.
And it's out of New York? This is a firm out of New York?
Yes, we are actually based in the city. Our office is on 27th Street, and we have a showroom on 38th.
And you're one of the partners of this firm?
Yes, exactly.
I see. So where's your clothing line sold nowadays? Where are you? Where can people find it?
We are close to 400 retailers. We have a list of all the stores on our website, www.lavieny.com. L-A-V-I-E is the spelling of La Vie. And we also have an online shop, which is shop.lavieny.com. and that's our.
People can buy your
Yes.
your merchandise online.
Yes, they can buy our merchandise online.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about the fashion industry in New York for young people like yourself breaking in.
Yes.
How tough is it? How competitive is it? It must have been a struggle in the beginning.
Oh man, it's
Isn't
such
there, isn't there an HBO series where there's two young guys like yourself?
Yeah, yeah.
And they create
how to make it in New York.
yeah, or something like that. Yeah.
I don't really do much TV watching, but I heard I watched the trailer and I heard a little bit about the
Right.
show, and it was, I could definitely relate to it. It's definitely been a huge challenge because growing up as minorities, it's been I don't come from a family that's well off, neither do any of my partners. So just like to start any business, money was one of the main prerequisites to get a business up and going, and I would say that was probably our biggest challenge from the beginning was the whole money thing, and also just establishing our identity out there because there's so many brands, so many people trying to start clothing lines.
And when you do that, when you try to establish an identity and you're trying to get the word out that you have this product, how do you do it? I mean, do you get like celebrities to wear your clothing? And, and is that good promotion? And have you had any good celebrities, famous celebrities? wearing your stuff?
It's an array of different mediums. We use the internet for the most part. Nowadays, you have your Facebooks, your Twitters, YouTube. Whatever we can get our hands on, we use that. We work closely with a couple of stylists that they're constantly styling artists for video shoots,
Wow.
Photo shoots, and things of that nature. So, and we've had a bunch of people wear our stuff: 50 Cent, Jay Sean, Trey Songz, Chris Brown.
So what does that do for you when somebody wears your clothing and then they're seen on television and so forth? Does that increase sales? Do you see an immediate?
It does because the stuff that they're usually wearing is usually relevant to what we have out on the market. So if people usually when something comes out like on a video, you see there's definitely a rise in our sales for that specific item.
And where do you get, when you're designing, where do you get your ideas? Because you mentioned the word minorities.
Yes.
Is there like an ethnic angle to your whole design?
Not necessarily. We don't just cater to a specific
Group.
Exactly.
Okay.
We're just for young people who are stylish, who appreciate fashion, and they just want to be fly all the time.
But where do you get your ideas? So you look at what everybody else is doing and you say, okay, I want to take it in a different direction.
Yeah,
I do. Different.
Being in this business, you learn to try to be ahead of things because in this business you have to literally be designing a year ahead. So I look up to huge brands and I look at their forecasts, see what they're doing. I go out in the market and I see what's hot. And it's just our designs are a result of a lot of just little elements that I combine to form what is La Vie.
All right, let's talk a little bit about your photography and how that works together with your fashion designing. Does it? I mean,
It
one
definitely
hand
does.
washes the other,
Definitely
right?
does. Fashion photography, it's what makes you is your image, and to me, photography is that's how people, they get an idea of what it is you're trying to demonstrate. And
you do fashion photography.
Yes, specifically.
And so do you get models to wear the clothes that you design and then you shoot them yourself? Does that happen?
Yes. Well, for my photography, I don't usually involve. It's more females, I would say, than anything. But
and your clothes is all men.
It's all men's. It's all men's clothes. But the benefit is that I do the shooting for my own brand, so I control our image through images, and I think that's very important.
And so when you try to sell your own brand as a photographer, you have a keener eye for what it is that you're looking for.
Exactly. And I try to conceptualize our shoot ideas so that when the market sees it, they can relate to it.
So what makes a successful photo?
What makes a successful photo is everything from start to finish, from conceptualizing the idea to pre-planning, to finding a location, getting the right models, getting them fitted into the clothing, putting the outfits together.
Location.
Location.
That's an important word.
Definitely. Lighting.
Where do you go for these fashion shoots? New York, or do you go elsewhere?
Oh yeah, well,
as well?
right now we're staying locally because we're not a huge brand, so we don't have like the type of assets for us to do huge shoots, to travel and things of that nature.
But when you do a shoot, there are plenty of places in New York for fashion, right? I mean,
yeah.
It's the capital. I mean,
yeah, of course.
It's the capital of the world. Like, I would think you could get on top of the Empire State, or you could go to a park, or you could go to Central Park.
I've used parks, I've used rooftops, I've used alleys, like whatever I think will fit the collection. That's what I aim for.
So what's coming this summer in terms of style?
Style is just real kind of preppy, very, very Americana. Our colors are red, white, and blues for the summer. So I think
Oh,
it's
really? Red, white,
very,
and blue?
very appealing. I think if you guys check out our website and see all the new stuff, you'll see it's very.
Okay,
very cool
advice that you would have for young people who are thinking of going either into photography or into fashion design.
You have to come into this game with passion. You can't come in expecting to make $1 anytime soon. You have to be willing and patient and dedicated.
Sacrifice, a lot of sacrifice.
A lot of sacrifice. You have to dedicate a lot of time without seeing results immediately. It's going to take time. But if you stay persistent and you stay ahead of the game and you'll persevere.
So you feel now like you've actually made it. You crossed that line, or are you still working your way there?
Me personally, I have a lot. My goals are very huge, so I feel like I'm far away from that finish line, but I'm definitely on the right track. Definitely on the right track.
It's usually better to enjoy the trip than to actually get there. So keep going.
Yeah, definitely. I'm embracing it for what it is at the moment.
So tell me something. Where again do people get a hold of you, your fashion line? Tell me the information again. The website?
Okay, the website is www.lavieny.com. LAVIENY.com. Our shop is linked right on the website, and also if you want to just find us at a local retailer, we have a store list right on the site that you can click, and it'll give you a list per state of the stores that are nearest to you. And
wow, great.
You can find them like that. And for my photography, it's my first and last name together, AbielRuiz.com, AbielRuiz.com.
Okay, Abiel, it's a pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Good luck, okay?
Thank you, I appreciate
We're right
it.
behind you on this. We're gonna make you famous now a little bit, but when you're really, really famous, then you're gonna come back to the Bronx Journal and grace us with your visit,
Whatever
okay?
you guys want.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.